He stole a glance at Zhang Xiaofan, only to see him standing solemnly, with no change in expression on his face. Just a slight movement of his lips as he said, "You've caused me to be scolded half to death by my old man. Isn't that enough?" Zhang Xiaofan felt apologetic and quickly averted his gaze, then whispered, "I'm sorry. At that time, I was just ... Well, is Senior Peng okay?" Senior Peng is heavily injured, but it's nothing serious. He'll recover after a few days of rest. Otherwise, would I be at ease with you? But I didn't expect you to be so hidden. It's not like that. At that time, I didn't know what was happening. Most likely Senior Peng was being modest towards me, and I acted rashly. I asked Senior Peng, although he lost, he had many praises for you. He said he used all his strength and didn't hold back. So you don't need to take it to heart. Zhang Xiaofan was surprised again, then said, "What about the matter of you being scolded by your father?" HMPH. It's all because of Senior Brother Gao's group of idiots being so talkative, revealing all the words I pleaded with Senior Peng in front of them. Although Senior Peng spoke for me, I still got scolded by my father. Otherwise, I wouldn't have acted like that in front of others because of you, Xiaoshu. I'm really sorry. It's a small matter, nothing worth mentioning. I've been scolded by him since I was young anyway. But your luck, anyway. You should be careful in the next match with the Ice Queen from Shaoju Peak. Be careful not to be killed by the Heavenly Silk with just one sword. Zhang Xiaofan wore a bitter expression and whispered, "I know, if only I were competing against you instead." He stopped halfway through his words and looked around with a sudden chill in his heart. He saw Lu Zwecki standing not far away, her cold eyes seemingly fixed on the two of them. Zhang Xiaofan immediately fell silent, and Zhang Xiaoshu also suppressed a shiver, both pretending to listen attentively to King Song's speech on the platform. Finally, when King Song finished speaking, the crowd dispersed, preparing for the climax of the competition tomorrow. Zhang Xiaofan and Zhang Xiaoshu got off the platform. They still felt a chill behind them. They couldn't help but marvel. They didn't know if Lu Zwecki came from the extreme north ice fields, but just one glance from her was enough to chill one's heart. Zhang Xiaofan was about to bid farewell to Zhang Xiaoshu when he turned his head to look at him. He saw Zhang Xiaoshu suddenly put on a stern face, looking at him with disdain in his eyes. Then he snorted disdainfully, raised his head arrogantly, and walked away. Not far away, surrounded by a group of Fang Huifang disciples, his father was standing there looking at them. Zhang Xiaofan smiled wryly, turned around, and walked back to where the Zhu Peak disciples were. Tia Bai glanced at him and said, "Let's go back." Then he glanced at Tia Linger and said, "Linger, come with me. Your mother and I have something to tell you." Tia Linger answered with a yes and smiled at Zhang Xiaofan before leaving. Back in their residence, as soon as they entered the room, the Zhu Peak disciples exploded with excitement. Wu Dai and others rushed to tell the good news to Song Darren, who was lying in bed. La Daxin hugged Zhang Xiaofan and laughed heartily, while Du Bishu shook his head beside them, muttering, "This is unreasonable, completely unreasonable."